everybody, and welcome back to the New Agenda. My name is Candace New, and I am your host. Yes. I am so excited to have you guys here today and to spend some more time diving deep into pursuing our dreams. Have you ever come to a moment in your life where you find yourself kind of doubting all of your life choices to that moment? And not necessarily because maybe you made really bad choices, but maybe you just feel uncertain of whether or not all of the really big things that you've somehow found yourself in the middle of, whether or not you're really the right person or able to accomplish them all. I know that for me at this point in my life, I found myself in such a place of uncertainty and feeling uncertain of whether or not I have what it takes to do all the things that I have on my plate right now. And so today, I'm hoping that we can dive a little bit deep into that. When I get in these moments, I do a couple of things to kind of ground myself. The first thing is that I sit down and I kind of itemize the work that I've done along the way to get here, because my brain tells me one thing and my path tells me another. And so I sit down and I write down, what have I done to get here? What were the steps that were required that prepared me to be here? And then I ask myself, have I prepared well? Have I prepared well? And if I've done that, then I ask myself, do I have the required tools? Do I have the training that is necessary? And then I lean back on the who that I am and what I bring to the table, what particular talents that I have. One of the affirmations that I usually tell my actors before they get on a stage, when I get the opportunity to work with them, is I remind them that you are well-trained, well-prepared, and incredibly talented. I don't always do a great job of telling myself that. So today, I hope you look at yourself in the mirror, and I'll do the same, and you say with me, I am well-trained, well-prepared, and incredibly talented. I actually have two guests today who are also well-trained, well-prepared, and incredibly talented, and I cannot wait for you to meet them. The first one I'm going to bring out, she is an incredible human, incredible filmmaker, and has some really awesome insights into the industry that I can't wait to talk about. Her name is Rebecca Wiggins. Come on up. Yay! Hello, darling. Thank you so much for coming and being on my show. You can sit right here. You can move those pillows under there if you would like.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That was so beautiful. Got me emotional.
Oh, that's the way to start my day off, emotional as always.
It was so vulnerable. I loved it. It was beautiful.
Thank you. That's how I feel. So you know what? I'm not. People always ask me if I'm an actress, and I think it's so interesting because 90% of what I do, I just play myself on TV. And so even when I'm coaching actors, because I do some acting coaching as well, I always feel like I'm coming from a different place. Like I'm coming from the place of a director, which is the other thing I do, right? Like I spend an immense amount of time directing, and then when I'm on TV, I'm almost always playing myself. You know, like we've got this reality show that I'm a part of, and I guess I'm Simon, really. I think I am, but it's also
Simon, as in
like American Idol. Is it American Idol? America's Got Talent.
You're the Simon character.
Kind of, but like mixed with somebody who really desperately cares about these kids.
Oh.
But it's like tough love, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm myself. I'm just me on TV, and then you know I have this show. Which I'm me on TV.
Season 5, I just saw.
We're in season 5, yep.
That's huge, amazing, Congratulations.
Thank you. We're in season 2 of the other show. And then I got cast recently in Ricky Lee's Koyo. He's putting up a pilot, and it's called Koyo. And it's this supernatural action thriller.
Ooh.
It's a really great script.
That's perfect for your brand.
Yeah. But you know what? He cast me as the news reporter. And so I'm basically just playing myself.
Oh, no, I see you definitely as like some superhero, extraterrestrial. You've got to have some like fight scenes.
I really want to do something like that. But I think actually the first episode of this series ever maybe ruined that for me because I definitely interviewed a stunt choreographer and then we did some stunt training and I probably look like a weird clumsy person attempting to do stunts as opposed to like somebody who could fight. Maybe it was just a bad day. But, I could definitely do some. That's a moment where it's like you fall back and say, "Am I well trained?" And I'm not. And you have to be humble and honest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that extra training that I need? You can ask yourself that then.
It's how to look like you're throwing a punch that would hurt somebody.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I did that. Yeah, I've done that before on a zombie film where I was playing a mombi, and I did this stunt that I thought I was like, oh cool, I knew exactly what I was doing. This guy, I was supposed to get shot and then spin into the wall, and my whole neck, it's like my body went one way and my head went the other.
I think that works.
I mean, it worked for the shot, but for my neck, for the rest, the rest of my life, it has not worked.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not great with stunts either.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely, try some stunt training, but it requires a lot of physical effort and physical fitness, I think. Like I'm skinny because I'm really bad at eating. Like it's not a choice. Like I didn't, I just go through days and don't eat. Because I'm like busy and then I get caught up in whatever it is and I'm like, I'll get there, and I just don't. And so
when you've got Humble Coffee fueling you and
Humble Coffee, that's right.
fueling you so you don't need to eat.
That's right. I mean, who needs food? I did eat a pile of nachos today, and then I brought 2 bags of chips as a snack because apparently that's my diet today. So
that sounds delicious.
It's terrible.
It sounds delicious.
You know what? It is. It is. So my mother was concerned, so she went and bought a burrito and put it in my refrigerator so that when I got home I would eat.
That's so cute.
I was like, okay, Mom, thank you.
I'm not a great eater either. Yeah. My husband has dinner waiting for me at home now.
Yeah.
So.
What's he making?
Salmon and sweet potatoes.
I'm just kidding. That sounds very healthy.
So you got to stick with your nachos. You
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
So Rebecca, can you tell me a little bit? I know that you are an intimacy coordinator. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do and how you got into it and how you got involved in film in general? Like, I'd love to know where you got started and how you ended up in this particular faction.
Oh yeah. Okay, so how long's the show? I've been in the industry for 17 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to a high school with any kind of drama program. I didn't go to any kind of I went to school actually for music and audio engineering is what I went to college for.
Yeah.
And graduated with a degree in that. Like I said, there wasn't a drama program at my high school. The film incentives had just kicked in when I moved back, and I was like, I lived in Roswell, New Mexico, and I was like, how can I get on a film set? It was that same kind of thing. It's like I didn't have any of the training. I didn't know anyone who did it. And so I started working actually as a cosmetologist. I got a license in cosmetology and started working on film sets.
Do my eyebrows look okay?
They look perfect.
Okay.
Literally, there's just one little... Got it. One little thing. Got it.
I tried a new thing
There was
today.
nothing to fix. I was just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I was just pretending, stepping into my old makeup shoes.
Got it.
So I...
Did you pretend?
No. To what?
To fix people?
No, I really did people's makeup on film sets. And then I just asked everyone that I could ask, how did you get where you are? How are you, where do you train? Where do you go? At the time, there was not a lot of training or stuff to do. It was 2004 in New Mexico. But I moved up here, I packed all my stuff in my car and made a couple of friends in the industry. And then in 3 months' time, had booked my first SAG role, which I was very, very fortunate, and that's not common. But I booked a role on Sunshine Cleaning with Amy Adams, opposite Amy Adams.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so fun. And then I started producing almost immediately because I wanted to be in control of the stories that I was telling.
Yeah, I feel that in my soul.
Yeah, and not just be, especially the content's very different for women now. Later we'll watch a piece of mine that's a female-driven Western television pilot series, a teaser trailer for it. It's very different now. The look of the variety of the types of people that we have, from the color of your skin to sexual preference to it's to age. It's way more vast. But at the time, it was really tiny. And you could do this one thing as a woman. So I was I should produce if I want to. And my caveat always was if I produce it, I'm going to star in it because it's
Okay.
so much work to produce. If you've ever produced any film, you'll know that. Yeah, and then as a producer, I've done a web series, probably 16 to 20-ish award-winning short films, 2 features. My most recent feature, I was nominated for Best Actress at the London International Film Festival and the Madrid International Film Festival.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, it was so cool. And that feature was like indie to the max. I made it with a 3-person crew, including myself, who was in front of the camera 95% of the time with a $3,000 budget.
Wow.
And
See,
it
we
was
need
totally
to talk.
improvised.
We need to, yeah.
The whole
All right.
feature was improvised. So, so I'm a do-it-yourself kind of kid. I got certified to teach the Chubbuck acting technique 7 years ago because I wanted a technique. I didn't, like I said, I didn't go to a school with any
Right.
kind of program, and I didn't go to college for it. So I went for myself, and then when I came back, people were like, you trained with Ivana Chubbuck, like, and you're certified, teach me, I want to know. And nobody was teaching technique here.
Right.
From a living, teacher, like a teacher that was still living and teaching technique. So yeah, and I love it. That whole technique really vibes also with your show in the sense of it's very much about not being a victim. It's about using everything in your life for your work. And that really resonated with me.
I love that.
So yeah, and then I started directing and writing, I guess. I mean, I've been in the industry a long time.
Yeah.
So I started directing and writing in 2016. And most recently have a female-driven Gothic Western series titled Vicious Kin.
Okay. Do we have
Yeah.
a clip from that?
I got a clip from it.
I think we need to cut to that clip. I don't know if that's the first one up.
Oh, well, yeah. Are we going to it?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
realize that we need to do that. So let's go ahead and cut to the trailer that we have queued up first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Get on the horse and you're gonna get out of here. She moves like the snake, carrying death with her. A hard journey lies ahead. The cost will be great.
I said blow on the fire! You really want to die over here? Can you unwear baby? Cause it sure seems like you do.
You're a scavenger just like your daddy.
Don't talk about my daddy.
Monster!
They're dead. Their ashes are spread out 100 miles over the desert. I'm here. I made it.
You will sing again.
I am a boy, very stranger, traveling through this world alone. There is no sickness or in the fair land to which I go.
Hurts. Don't it?
Think anyone's looking for us?
No.
What do you do with a canary that won't stop singing?
incredible, and I absolutely love the strong female presence, the lead that we have here.
Oh, thank you.
What inspired you to write this?
So my lead with the Mojave chin tattoo is actually based on a real woman named Olive Oatman.
Okay.
And her journey, I guess I always write and I always direct from a place of question. And so the question, when I saw the woman's image, she had this tattoo on her face, right? But she looked like this Victorian, just classic lady other than that. And I thought, like, what happens, what do you have, like, in your future for you if you're wearing your past on your face all the time? And that was, like, a really interesting thing. And then generational trauma, family and belonging was huge. And she survived a lot of that. And so she was really, Olive Oatman was the inspiration originally for it.
Okay.
And I really also wanted to paint, through like a maverick female lens, what the West really looked like through women's eyes. Like, I don't feel like Westerns really depict that.
Yeah,
so.
no, I agree. Well, that's incredible. Where can we watch this series?
So right now I'm pitching it. I'm pitching it.
Okay.
I'm pitching it to networks. So just sending me good vibes and good thoughts about
I'm
it.
sending you good vibes and good thoughts.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me know how it goes. I wish I could watch it. Now I'm like, that's right. Okay.
I'll send you if you want to see the full length. So we filmed. I told Candace on the break we filmed a full, like the first episode Zoom read through, and then I did filmed sequences like an old movie in the beginning, like an intro, an intermission, and an outro. And so
I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
If
I'll
I could
send
have
it to you.
Ha, perks of the job, friends. You don't get to watch it, but I do. I know they love me out there in TV world. Sorry, guys. I also noticed somebody else on there that I might have brought on my show today. Yeah, it's possible. His name is Sam Quinn, and he's going to come and join us. Sam, are you here?
Sam Quinn!
Oh. Hello! How are you? I love your jacket. I actually have one just like it.
I know. I saw earlier. I was peeping on your leather.
Yeah. You can sit right there.
Dude.
You are welcome to move those
you're
pillows.
sitting
They're actually
here.
just there for decoration so that when the show
I feel
opens.
like at some point I'm gonna need to hold this
my
for
God.
like
Why do they
comfort.
always
Yeah.
do that?
Sunshine.
It's always the men. Have you guys
Just like
noticed that? Like
lean in.
literally, okay, I am not kidding. We are 63 episodes in? Okay, we are 63 episodes deep, and I want you to know that every time I bring a man on this show, they mess with my pillows. They like pet them or they have pillow fights. The women never do. They just sit down like normal people. And the men, like I'm not generally into like gendering people at all. But it's like we're 63 episodes. This is a research project. I am not kidding.
I wonder.
I used to think that they
love
messed-
to cuddle, and there's a pillow
Hey,
here.
I love to cuddle
Is that
too.
yeah?
Men, by men, I just mean I love to cuddle.
Okay.
And there are
You're just
pillows
talking about
here,
yourself.
so there we go. Hi.
Welcome. Get some vodka. I'm sorry.
See, I'm
How
not
do
as
we
mean
street
as in
this?
her trailer, right? In the
No, he's not that.
I'm not sure yet. We're still deciding.
You
I mean,
sneak up
right
behind the
now.
couch with a pillow to smash it
Okay.
on my head.
I have 15 minutes to prove myself as a nice guy.
Are you well trained, well prepared? Incredibly
That
talented.
was great. I was like, that's really good. Those 3 questions, and it really cut through all the BS. It's like, am I well trained? Am I well prepared?
seriously.
Am I talented?
Do you have the things or not? I mean, you have to have all 3. So I told you I was working on a series. We have a new series called Broadway Bound Live, and it's not a new series. It's in season 2, so it's a not new series, but it's a season 2.
Well, it's newer than
Whatever.
New Agenda. Newish
No,
for you.
well,
No?
yeah. Excuse me as I die. I'm sorry.
Don't.
I'm sorry. Yeah. No. We actually filmed season 1 before we started New Agenda, and New Agenda started during the pandemic when we couldn't do anything else besides like maybe have like a talk show. Like what could you do? Like it was such a
Yeah.
small, little thing. And my
What is
What
the
could
other
you do
show?
during the pandemic? Well, I guess just have a talk show. That's all I got.
You know,
so
just do some puzzles, read a lot, start a talk show.
well, my other series is a musical theater competition show, so it's just got
I've
a
heard
lot
about
more
that.
happening.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, I think, was just auditioning for that. Okay.
Broadway Bound Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Who's your friend?
Genesis, I think.
Genesis is on the show. Oh my God, she's so good.
Yeah,
She's so
cool,
good.
Cool,
Yeah.
Cool.
Is this, is all the talent coming in from the state? Or where are you
So,
harvesting talent from?
Yes. Well, no. So we did a nationwide casting call. And went up
Cool.
through backstage. Apparently, Actors Access doesn't do reality shows. Like, okay, I'm just going to throw that out there again. Sorry, dirty laundry. But which is fine. But so we pushed it through backstage. It also got pushed through a couple of our casting friends.
Nice.
We had over 300 submissions. But when we came down to like, you know, them submitting their self-tapes and then them submitting their paperwork, because it's a show that's specifically for low-income individuals between the ages of 18 and 28. So when we went kind of like through all those filters, we got down, we ended up with about 35 eligible participants coming out to callbacks, and about we invited, I think, 12 from out of state to come to callbacks. We had in-person callbacks in Albuquerque. And part of that was like, you know, we need them to live here for 4 months.
Yeah.
And so we needed to know that they would commit to that. So we actually only had 4 people from out of state come in, out of the ones that we invited to callbacks. And those 4 did end up on the show.
Oh, cool.
And so they're on the show.
Cool. I can't wait to see this.
They're living here. We got Diamond Elite Luxury Homes is actually sponsoring the show. They provided housing. They have this beautiful house at this. It basically is like a resort. It's the old like UNM cottages, but they've totally
Those are
revamped
beautiful.
it and
Are they like
kicked
living
out.
dorm style, like
Yeah.
all together? And are the
They do.
cameras
People
like,
in the
corner.
is that part of the
We
show?
don't film them in their house. No, we did film them like walking into the house and seeing it and that kind of stuff. And we
Cool.
filmed a tour. But no, they get to have the privacy of their home. We also have the access to like the clubhouse and the grounds though. So we do have some events at the clubhouse and they can have rehearsals and stuff. There's actually a beautiful rehearsal hall upstairs. It's really beautiful. But so they donated that house for 4 months
Cool.
because the show is 4 months. So
amazing.
yeah. But the other 14, so the other 10 contestants are local. Yeah.
Awesome.
So they get private voice, group dance, and group acting lessons for the entire 16 weeks.
So cool.
They're not paid though. So that's like we're in season 2. So season 1 was a super small budget. In season 2, we had a bigger budget. And so in season 1, we were only able to offer the classes until they were eliminated because we just didn't have the budget to carry it through. And then in season 2, we got a grant from the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, which will pay for the lessons through the entire season, which is great. And then we were able to provide housing for some of the contestants. We're hoping that for season 3, all of the contestants will also get, you know, they're paid to be here, and then we're also covering their housing, and then they're also getting the lessons. So that's like our goal for season 3. We also want all of the contestants to be able to be housed for season 3, unless it doesn't make sense for them. But
And so
Right,
you're
like if they
posting
lived
that.
here.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So cool. What a beautiful concept. I love that. I can't wait to watch it.
thank you. Well, we're really excited. The first episode dropped last week, and so we're, you know, kind of
Where can we watch it?
checking along. You can watch it on this channel. Well, no,
Okay.
on channel. This is channel 27. Hi guys. You can watch it on channel 96, which is the educational access. I don't know if they'll put it on this channel too or not. I don't know. We haven't talked about it. And then it's also, you can watch it online on our website. It's not available for on demand yet. The first episode will be available for on demand starting on Wednesday, I believe. So we're getting there.
How does that work? Do you film all of the episodes first?
No,
So
we
you're
are
doing it as you go.
This is why I had to have somebody do my makeup today, because I was like, you know, we were still up editing and sorting through footage, and like it was like
wow.
we had
Okay.
competitive round number 3 on Wednesday or on Saturday, and then we had a whole master class on Sunday. So for every competitive round, they also have a master class that goes along with whatever the round is.
Cool.
Whatever
That sounds awesome. That sounds
yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
For them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
And
lot,
crazy for you in the editing.
it's a lot. Yeah, I have some awesome people helping, so that's great. But we have a really great team. So, anyways, back to you guys and what you do. How did we get on this topic? I have no
we wanted
idea.
to know. We asked you.
Oh, okay. That's what I. Yeah.
Oh, because Sam mentioned it and
Oh.
I asked. I was like, wow, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So we started this talk show after that show kind of like got shut down because it was 2019 when we filmed season 1. We wrapped December, and then it was actually supposed to go up on air in the spring, but then it was the pandemic and we didn't want to release it until it was leading into season 2. So we just like sat on it for a while. got this show going, and then we went back to it. So it's newer, yes, kind of. I don't know.
But not really.
And not really. Like the concept was like my like, I guess I'm gonna work in TV. I'm gonna start my own TV show. Here we go.
Cool.
That's really what I did. Like I've done some other things before that, but that was like my big like, I'm gonna start a TV show and this is what we're doing. so that's that.
That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. And to be in season 5 with one and season 3 with the other, that's huge.
Season 2 with the other. Yeah.
Season 2 with the other, it's huge.
Gearing for season 3 already, which is terrible. This is why I drink. This is actually tea, guys.
Tea.
just so you
That's
know.
why
So
she
why I
drinks
drink
hot
I
tea.
drink hot tea.
Don't start
I drink hot
rumors.
tea because I
Straight.
can't, because I'm not allowed to go to sleep tonight, so I need caffeine.
I understand.
So Sam, tell me a little bit about how you guys know each other, first of all, because I know you're obviously friends as you pat my pillows, man. It's just that it's white, and anyways, moving on.
My hands are clean.
Are we sure?
I'm drinking an herbal tea that would, if anything, it would be washing it.
So okay. So polite.
So you guys are clear. I mean, you were in her show, so you guys obviously know each other.
Yeah, we go.
Did you guys
we go-
conspire
we
to
go
be here
back.
today?
I don't think, no, I
was
didn't
the
even
question?
know. Did we conspire to be here? No, I mean, Sam just wandered in. He
Yeah, I was
off
on
the
the street and they
street.
said
I
they needed
know,
an
I
extra guest, and I was like,
I know. I hate when that happens.
We
I have
happened to
done
wear
that
the
before.
same
Like we have
outfit.
definitely had moments where I've actually been like, "Who out there in the world is going to walk down here? Who lives within 5 minutes of here? Hi, what are you doing right now? Want to be on a TV show? Cool, come on down."
Well, luckily, there's lots of interesting people who live
There really
down
are.
here.
There really are.
Like
Yeah.
Sam, for instance.
Rusty?
Do you actually? Oh, I know. No,
Rutherford is, like,
literally,
right over
Rusty's
there.
been on my show.
I see him at the gym all
Zach
the time.
Abeda.
yeah.
I actually called in Zach Abeda once. He's a stand-up comedian. Do you guys know Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
I
know
called him
Zach.
up because one of the guests canceled like last minute, and we had another guest who was like here, and I was like, I can't do a show with one guest because that's weird.
Well,
and
do-
it was a comedian who was on my show, and I was like, well, just find another comedian. Who I know? Who do I know? Zach. Zach lives around here. I'll just call him up, and he came out. And it was great. It was a great show.
Well, I live
I love that. I
a
like
2-minute
that.
drive from here, so just saying, if you want to invite me next time,
Oh, please. Okay. I definitely
Last
invited you
minute.
because you already had lower thirds, so you're not really just wandering it off the streets.
Whatever.
It's in the credits, but you know.
I talked to Mark before
just
as I was
crept
walking
in.
up on the street. I gave him my details.
You were editing back
Got
there.
it.
I'm teasing you. No, but we go way back. We actually
Way
we go back. I think the first
Improv.
time was in sketch comedy. I was in a sketch comedy
love
troupe
that.
Called
7 or 8 years ago called Comedy Question Mark.
Is that here in town?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
We used to play at the box.
Okay.
And we would bring Becca in as a special guest
I'm not
quite often.
at a place where I get to call her Becca yet. I feel a little jealous.
You can. You
Okay, got it.
totally
Yes,
call
I'm
me
in the
Becca.
club. I can call her Becca
In
now,
fact,
guys.
when I
Yes.
write out my full name, I'm like, that sounds so pretentious.
She's Becca Bear to me, but I've known her for 7 years, so.
It's coming to a whole different level.
Becca Bear.
All
Becca
right.
Bear. Anyway, but yeah, so she would, because she's an amazing musician and hilarious and just all the things, we would bring her on, and then she'd steal the show and we'd be like, let's not bring her on for another year. And then we'd bring her back, but yeah, that started with that, I think, and then what after that? Maybe film stuff?
I moved to Los Angeles
Oh, right.
and ran into Sam in a part of town that I did not live in. I was going for a walk in Koreatown with friends, and I was like, Sam!
Right.
And so then we really connected as filmmakers.
Yeah.
And Sam had me come on and do makeup and special effects for his zombie film. And then he cast me actually as the mombi in it, right? And
This is
then-
the one where she got injured.
And then
That's
you
your fault.
torture,
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
your
know that
fault.
until I was in the
I was
audience,
not-
and
You just found
I was
out.
texting the producer, we may have a problem.
And she's saying it on television. It's not even.
And then I had Sam. Sam is an incredible actor. I actually wrote the role of Samuel in my pilot for him and another
And
dear
you couldn't
friend
come
of
up
ours.
with a different name.
No. I was like, Samuel. Sam.
I like that.
Samuel is
It feels, I feel, I've
Like it's
been in
really
a couple
you.
of projects where the name has been Sammy or like Lil Sammy, and I'm always like, all right, I can do that.
I got this
I can do
guy.
that.
I got this guy.
You're basically playing yourself on TV. That's what I know.
Yeah, exactly.
guy is
That's me.
not
That's
him.
me to a T. Pretty much.
So anyway, that's like part, and then I've also played a lead in an awesome, beautifully done short film called Fierce that you would probably really dig. that's all black and white and beaubeautiful. You could explain it better.
I
but Sam
would really
directed me
think
in
that sounds like something I would like to watch.
And we shot it all downtown Albuquerque.
Okay. Oh, you gotta send it to me. Can you send me a link? Can I watch it?
Yeah, I'll send
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah.
That one's still making festival rounds, but I'll send you your private link.
Yes!
Sorry.
Yes! I love my job
All
so
these,
much.
All these links, you'll just have millions of hours of footage.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've just been collabing, and then when I moved back to New Mexico, I had taught a couple of workshops of some stuff. I was taking various classes in LA that I was like, I feel like Albuquerque might like some of these, and I want to share them because I'm really nerding out about these, and I want to share. So I reached out to Becca and said, hey, can I teach a class with Southwest Sceneworks?
Yeah.
And then she was like, why don't you just play with me and
Yeah,
help
why don't you
me run the business.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So-
So you started Southwest Seamworks.
I did, yeah. I
Can we
started-
talk about what that is real quick?
Yeah, so Southwest Sceneworks is a company that I founded 7 years ago, and predominantly I taught people the Chubbuck acting technique, since
Right.
that's what I'm certified in to teach. It's a very film-specific technique. Ivana Chubbuck is trained, like the best of the best. She's worked with Brad Pitt, Charlize Theron, Halle Berry when she won her Oscar for Monsters Ball. So I was really inspired by her work and got certified to teach that. Then I created authentic branding, which is like life coaching meets the acting business blended with principles of manifestation.
That's
So
amazing.
it's like really heavily, it's like finding your core self and then you branch out your actual business from there. And it really works for any creative. I mean, I did it with my sister who's a nurse practitioner that's running her own company, but I focused it quite a bit on actors.
Yeah, it's amazing, like the transformation that we see actors go through before they take that class, and after, I'm like,
So that's
it
a
is
class.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a class.
it's a class,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh,
like
I need to take
it
that
truly is a
class.
transformation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah. If you're
I feel like that would be in my
if you're an
wheelhouse
actor
of,
and you're
like,
feeling
things I
like
should- yeah.
kind of raw in what your brand is and what how to embrace who you are. It's like night and day when you come out of that. It's everything's so clear. It's awesome. It's a really, really awesome class.
I feel like I do that every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, like who am I and what am I doing?
It is. I think it's helpful even if you're not an actor.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly, I really, really
I'm an
do.
actor. I play myself on TV.
No, but it's really, we all like the brand that you
Yeah.
carry. It's like that's how you were able, whatever brand, whether you know you're carrying it or not,
Right.
that's how you were able to sell your series. It's why you've been able to get into season 5 of this show as well.
I thought people just like to sit on my couch and talk to me because I bribe them with humble coffee.
Well, that, I mean,
mean,
no,
and fondle the
no, it's
pillows.
you. It's definitely you. I know. I was like petting this little pooch, and I was like, stop. So then I created authentic branding, and then I just really got to a place where I wanted partnership and a co-creator and a co-collaborator. And Sam is an incredible creative. I always have respected him as a just in general as an artist. Like first as an actor is how I knew him, and then as a director. And so he was open to it, and we've loved collaborating. It's been a really beautiful, successful year.
Yeah.
It's
That's
been a full
awesome.
year now, and maybe a couple months.
So how did you get started in film?
In film,
Or in
I kind
acting.
of
I don't know.
yeah,
How did it
I
go-
kind
how
of
did it
fell.
begin?
I fell into film.
He's like, when my mommy and my daddy loved each other very much.
Let's see. I got into film. I've been acting since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Since I was like 10, and I have done that off pretty much throughout my whole life, just never really stopped. I went to college for it, went to a performing arts high school for acting in Texas. It's a very fame-like high school. If you've ever seen that movie, it's very close. I saw it after, and I was like, "That's my high school." We got into a lot of trouble, but it was fun.
I'm going to have to go home and watch this. It's on my list now of 8,000 more things I'm supposed to watch tonight.
Yeah.
I know. I'll send it all.
And then I went to college for it, and then I moved to Chicago and cut my teeth in the Chicago theater scene for several years. And then when I was actually back here on a vacation, and I met my agent at a party, and then
Like you met that person at a party and they became your agent, or you met
no,
them?
like
you're
I met
you're
them.
"Oh my
Like I
God."
was here for a different reason. I was in the midst of fundraising for a rock musical I had written.
'Cause he's also he's an incredible musician too.
Okay, a rock musical that you wrote. You write musicals? Oh, we have to
I've
talk.
written a couple. I haven't in a while, but yeah, I wrote a couple. And there was one that I did in Chicago, and we had a great time, and we performed it in Chicago, and we were about to take it to Austin, but I was going to raise some more money. So I was here to save some money, staying with my mom,
Yeah.
and raising money. And then I met my agent at a party, and then she signed me like
So awesome.
the next week.
Who's your agent?
Carissa Mitchell.
Okay.
And I'm still with her.
Yeah.
And then I ended up booking a movie. I booked a feature film, Jane Got a Gun.
It was a
in
great
like
role in that.
2016. And so I moved here, and all my stuff was in Chicago and all this, and I was just like, maybe it's just taking a turn. So I moved to New Mexico, and because my mom had been telling me like, there's film here, and my dad too, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, they say that
I don't know,
everywhere.
but I didn't know, and then I got here and I was seeing all the signs everywhere, all the production signs, and I was a theater guy, so I sort of pivoted and started figuring out how to act for film, and then so I did that for several years here. And then I moved to LA because I wanted to check that out. I was told myself after Chicago I was going to move to either New York or LA, and then I decided, because I was more involved in film, that I wanted to try LA. So I lived in LA for several years, and then that's where Becca and I got even closer.
Yeah.
I would give him haircuts at my house too.
Yeah.
So she cuts hair, she does makeup,
Yeah.
she's a phenomenal actress.
Everything,
writer,
anything
producer,
that I
director,
have ever needed, I can
teaches
call
life,
Becca for.
life coaching,
Life
general inspirational.
Seriously.
You know, all right.
She's my acting
Guys.
coach, she's my therapist.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this feels like not just acting lessons, but
Yeah.
therapy. This is the kind of therapy I need. I've actually
While I'm
gone
doing
to
your
therapy like a lot, and
Oh, I love therapy.
I
Therapy.
get to a
great.
point.
And we're
No, I love
actors.
it.
We should be in therapy.
Yeah.
But I get to a point in
Um,
therapy where at some point, each one of the therapists I've ever worked with has kind of like looked at me and been like, your life is like a Hollywood movie. And I'm like, I'm not making this crap up.
This is real.
And then I'm like, and they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I run the New Mexico channel. They're like, you're making things up. I'm like, I'm not making things up.
Yeah.
This is my life, okay? I'm not making this up. I didn't write this. Anyways,
But yeah, so I was in LA and doing some stuff out there, a little bit of theater, but really I just wasn't getting the roles that I wanted, and so I started creating my own work. I had always kind of had various ideas, I'd written some kind of play stuff, so I had an idea of how to kind of write, but not screenplays. So I took a couple classes and figured that world out and created my first short film that I shot in Joshua Tree and LA. And did you help me with that one?
Stay Calm.
No, Joust.
I
we
did
have
the agent's
we actually have a clip
voiceover.
from something. We have a trailer for something that you just did.
Oh yeah,
recently did,
yeah. That one was Die Pretty, which I actually shot here,
Okay.
and that was a TV pilot. That was
Okay.
one of the most recent things that I've
That's
directed,
phenomenal.
and it's it's a TV pilot. That's what this is from.
Let's go ahead and cut to that trailer, and then
Yeah,
we'll come
yeah,
back and
yeah,
talk
yeah.
more about it.
Woohoo!
The curse of 33 is etched into my DNA. Even if blood alone is bullshit, there's an inevitability.
Mom, are you okay?
I know what she was feeling. I miss her. I forgive her.
Hey, I'm Erin.
What's up? Sweetheart, are you okay?
I'm fine, Dad.
Listen, I am 33.
You have to stop it. That is a super
Tell yourself that when it happens to Erin.
Bring her
Do
into
not
this.
ever leave her home alone.
Guess I'm next.
You excited?
It's rehab, not camp.
Step meeting is in 20.
When do I get to pet the horses? I'll kill myself if I stay in here. Please don't kill yourself. I've seen like 3 people kill themselves.
Fill out these forms.
am not my fucking mother.
Okay, this looks incredible.
Oh, thank you.
So, so this is a pilot. It's a trailer for a pilot. You guys have already filmed the pilot. So is it in festivals? Where's it at?
It is, yeah. We're about to kind of do our second wave of festival runs.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in pitch mode as well. So
I love that.
that's the hope, yeah.
So at the beginning of the show, I kind of talked about the idea of feeling uncertain of your, I don't know, maybe ability to get it all done or ability to do things well or kind of that self-doubt. Do you guys ever have self-doubt? Like, you guys seem like you're on top of your game, so this is probably a dumb question. But, like, what kind of things do you do? Like that face.
We're both like,
How do you navigate through some of that? Like I told you, I just bring people on for therapy. That's actually what we're doing.
I love it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so how do you guys handle those moments in your life when maybe you're questioning whether, not your choices in that sort of a way, but whether or not you're really able to bring what to the table that what needs to be brought, or when you're doubting your ability to do that.
You want to take that first?
I think I try to figure out what exactly, because that, first of all, always self-doubt. Like, I don't think that ever, I don't think as an artist, I don't think it ever goes away.
No.
You may have like bouts of confidence where you're like, oh, I'm feeling good about this and I think I can do this. But it always creeps back in just because it's such a vulnerable career and path, I feel like. But the way that I tend to navigate is to watch my thoughts and be very aware of my thoughts. I meditate every day so that when that train starts running, I can be like, what in this sentence that I'm telling myself that is negative, what is true? Like, what is a fact? And what is a thought that I've just crafted because my body is kicking into fight or flight and wants me to not do that thing that I'm afraid of?
Right.
Right? And so that's probably the main thing. And it's hard because you just forget sometimes, though, that to do that. And then you go down the little rabbit hole, and then you're in a bad mood or sad or feeling. But as much as I can, meditation helps. That's the biggest thing that I would recommend. Yeah.
Totally. That's so beautiful. I think same thing for me, in the sense that, like, I watch what triggers me, and when I can figure out and find, like, for instance, I've been on a show right now that I'm working as an intimacy coordinator, and I found myself triggered a lot of the time. And when I'm right up against that edge is when I have the potential and the ability to change. So I'll stay in the discomfort and see how I can, it's like, okay, how can I react differently than the small child normally would?
Yeah.
That feeling, like, for me, feelings of, like, being worthless are huge, and, like, not being seen or something. Both those themes I really deal with a lot.
Yeah.
But I just love, I think, in staying next to my edge there, I think of that Rumi quote, "The cracks are the places where the light enters you."
Yeah.
And the parts of me that, you know, some people might look at and think would be, like, damaged is where I find my value as an artist. And if I can just stay in the discomfort a little bit and not run from it, that is where I really pull strength.
Just to piggyback on that, I think that the discomfort, the challenge, the facing the fear, the tackling that thing that you may have self-doubt about, that's where all the scabs of confidence grow on and build on, right? Like,
that's true.
Before the pilot, I didn't think that I could do a pilot. Like, I was like, kind of, this is too long. I'd have never done anything this long. Afterwards, it's like, oh, maybe I can.
Right.
Maybe I can do the next thing.
It's maybe where you find your greatest moments is like to really like dig in and get through those moments, and as you overcome, that's where you find kind of those great moments, the greatness.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I feel, I kind of laughed. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I've never felt overwhelmed or, like there are moments where I feel like I can't do, or where I feel like a self-doubt kind of idea. Like I definitely struggle with that. But I've always kind of had a pressing feeling of like, I can and I will. And I told my mom recently, like, I feel like for the first time in my life, I feel like I've never felt so uncertain of where I'm at right now because I feel like I'm in a pivotal moment.
You're at a huge growth point. That's a sign of that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those moments where it's like whatever happens next totally shifts what the trajectory is, and it's terrifying. And it's also like it requires a degree of commitment to like, is this where I want my life to go? Like, is this the trajectory that I want to step into? Or would I rather do something easier?
Right.
Which I think is, and that's where my mom said, but is it because you don't want to do the thing? Or is it because, is it because you're not passionate about that? Or is it because you are afraid? If it's fear, you never walk in that direction. If it's because it's easy, then you don't walk in that direction either. The only reason why you ever walk away is because you realize that it's not a right fit for you. You realize that it's not actually what gives me passion and joy. So if it gives you passion, if it gives you joy, then you should head in that direction.
Yeah.
And so
that's great.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm like, okay.
Also, too, I think thinking on like not only what we want to achieve, but who we need to become to achieve that. And usually it means simplifying and releasing a lot of things that we've held on to. For me, lots of busyness and my focus can go 3,000 different directions.
Yeah.
And I think when I get clear, and authentic branding is a lot about that too, is having a real clarity of focus. And I don't have to know like how it's going to happen. I just have to know the what. I don't have to know the how.
Right.
And I think that then that really helps too. Thinking in like, who do I need to be?
Right.
How does this person show up who's living that life in my visualization,
How do you deal with like, so what you talked about like the how though, like, I mean, like the what, okay, like the what I feel like is clear. The how sometimes I struggle with, and I think it's like you guys are producers, filmmakers, and it sounds like you juggle as many hats as I probably do.
All three of us.
And I'm wondering like, how do you create synergy like within like and balance within your teams? Like I know that's kind of a different direction, but I think that part of my overwhelm comes from trying to let go. Like I need to learn to let go. So like what we're doing right now has kind of blown up, right? Like in a good way. Like everything that we've done, our team has like grown, and then like, and now we've got all this stuff, and like it grew fast, and it's like now we have all this stuff, and I feel like I'm juggling a billion hats, and one of my friends, was just telling me today, like, you have to learn to let go of some of these things. You can't do and be it all. And so how do you guys find your ability to still keep that clear vision, but also, like, maybe, I know you're going to say delegate, but, like, how?
Yeah,
like, how? Like, what do you, or how do you find the ways to not be, the busy, not, that kind of thing?
So I'm going to steal like my piece of advice because I got it from Zach Braff. I was listening to a podcast, and the first thing that I ever directed, I starred in. And so you really literally can't have too much control. You really have to trust your cinematographer and all that sort of stuff. So a couple of three things are coming to my mind. Number one, prep. So I prep as much as I can in every way. I have meetings with everyone. I have rehearsals, more than people think we need to have. Tons of prep. And then he said this piece of advice, and I loved it. He said, I always hire the best people that I know for that position, right? So I'm not hiring a cinematographer that I could shoot what they're shooting. I'm hiring someone who's like infinitely better than I could ever be. I don't do cinematography, but I always hire the best people that I know. And then I was actually number one in all of this is kind people who are flexible and willing to learn.
Yeah.
I'll hire someone who is kind and less talented, but hardworking, over someone who's super
100%,
talented
yeah.
and acts like a turd on set, That's my thought.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all great, and that's why I kind of feel like I live by the same rules when it comes to hiring my team. Everything that you said, I take passion over experience.
Yeah.
They still need to know how to do the job.
Professional.
Might need to take a little bit longer, but they're passionate and they are going to stoke the fire instead of put it out.
Right.
And what was the second part of the question? Kind of.
How do you let the letting go? Like, how do you let go? Like, I feel like my thing is like, I'm like, I have to do it because I feel very like.
Right. I think. Yeah. No. I think just finding people who are capable, and who you can trust, and who, if there's something that goes wrong, this is something that I try to tell to my sets, is say like, don't ask me questions when I'm on set, give me options.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right?
Okay. I need that language.
that-
Did you guys hear it? Did you hear my team? Did you hear it? Because like that's actually the missing link.
And so
Instead, I'm like, don't talk to me.
because we if you're a producer or you're whatever, I mean the producer needs to know all the answers usually, but usually if you're directing or there's so much going on in your brain and you're already answering so many questions, you're figuring out the show, you're doing there's so much that yellow or blue. It's way easier to be like that. What am I wearing?
Yeah.
Let's do that one, as opposed to wait, what colors do we have? Like what's
Right.
I don't it just simplifies it. So I think clarifying that from the very start with the team is important, just to be like, and it also they appreciate it because it gives them more power.
Right.
Yeah.
It gives them a sense of autonomy and creativity
Yeah.
in the decision making. So I say that, that, and otherwise I think you're just going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I was trying to do everything, but again, trying to find someone who can do that job, even with some stuff like scoring. Like we're both musicians, but I love working with composers because they can do the thing that I could do, but way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
And then that's fun because we have the vocabulary to talk to them and collaborate, but it's, I don't know, just embracing that more minds will probably always produce a better product than just the one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that one of the things that I definitely like when it comes to some of that stuff, it's like I don't necessarily have an opinion like I feel like I'm supposed to. I'm like, I don't know. That's my answer. So you figure it out. Like you figure out what the music should be under here, because I honestly, I don't know.
And options works though well
I do
because
like options. I like
you
that.
may not know, but when you hear it, you
Yeah,
might know
then I
it's
do.
right
You're
or
right.
it's wrong.
I definitely, because
That's
I think that's one of the things that I do is I'm like, no, I don't know. You whatever you want, and then I'm like, just kidding, not that.
Not right.
And I think that's a problem.
It's like, well, no, it's how I feel like the relationship with between director and editor works a lot of times is like the director may have an idea for a sequence, right? And maybe they don't, and that's fine because a lot of directors don't know what it's going to cut exactly in post. But usually they can tell what works and what doesn't.
Right.
So the editor's like, okay, check this one out. This doesn't work.
Right.
This one does work. This is the one I like versus between these two, right?
Yeah.
I would say it helps though. I mean, for me, I am very specific, like down to the seconds on edits, and I am not an editor, but I can tell like from this point here to this point here is like what I want to see. I think it does help to have a really clear vision of like, maybe not like, do I need to wear yellow or blue in the scene, but like, here's the theme, and this is what I want it to feel like, and communicating that with people so then they can tap into their creativity.
Right.
If we're that helps me in the releasing. Once I really explain my vision, and then there's also some people that just isn't a match, like a romantic relationship or a friendship, too. And I think also being able to be flexible and yes, be loyal to people that you love in your work and in your industry, but also be flexible and open to having new collaborators step in with you and seeing if it's like any kind of good relationship, you know,
Right.
you've got to find that, you know, those right matches
Yeah.
for editors and cinematographers and really building your team. I think that
Yeah.
on everything that I've produced, I slowly have collected those people on my team of like, you're my person,
Yeah.
person, you know?
And
Yeah.
learning to say no.
That's your biggest manifestation tool.
Because as I've at least found, you know, in my 30s now, there's a lot more asks coming at me,
Yeah.
and it's as hard as it is because I'm like, that sounds like fun. I don't want to be depressed and anxious and go to the mental hospital if I do this. Like, no. Maybe next time, in a kind
Yeah.
way, of course,
Yeah.
you know.
So
but-
when I give you my laundry list of things after the show,
I need this.
right.
Right.
Then, you know, think through it before you say no.
Yeah.
With that being said, I am getting the nod that we're about at time, so we're gonna have to wrap up. This has been such a lovely conversation, and
Awesome.
honestly, like, I just bring people out on my couch so that I can glean the incredible wisdom from you guys. So thank you guys for coming out and just.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel
Yeah, it was
encouraged and inspired, and like I have a couple of new kind of nuggets for my toolkit too. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I hope you guys out there in TV land gleaned a couple of really awesome nuggets too. And I think it's time for a new agenda.
agenda.